Hi everyone, you reach Chronicles of the Gray Hair Diva. If this is your first time, welcome. If not, welcome back. For all of you out there, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so that every time I upload a video, you will be notified. Hit the like button, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. And share my video with your friends and family so that they can come to my channel and get to know me also. I'm here today with a quick video on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And really it's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in the sculpture that was unveiled January the 13th in Boston, dedicated to his legacy. Well, unfortunately, the artist who created this sculpture, Hank Willis Thomas, I'm sure he had no idea that he was going to get so much outrage, criticism, okay, over this sculpture that he put his heart and soul into creating. Now listen, guys, my question to you is, were you outraged when you saw the sculpture? And if you were outraged, can you take another look at it, dig into this artist a little bit more, and maybe remove your outrage once you get a better understanding of where he got his reference from, where his creativity came from, and the fact that sometimes when you see a picture, you know how they say a picture says 1,000 words? That is true, but that doesn't mean that the 1,000 words that it is saying is correct. Okay, sometimes you can see a picture in one moment, and then if you see some more pictures after that, you're like, oh, okay, now I understand. When I saw the first picture, I thought XYZ. Now that I see another picture from different angles from that particular day in the video, I have a whole different perspective on the situation. I think now Time Magazine, let me just go into this. So I could tell y'all the name of the article here. So Time Magazine, they spoke to the artist, okay, and the name of the article is called "The Artist Behind the New MLK Jr. Sculpture Has a Message for Its Critics," okay? So you should go read that article. I'm going to summarize it for you, but I think after reading the article, you will have a different perspective on the sculpture, and I think you would perhaps give the sculpture a chance. Now, one, I'll tell you up front, he has no intention whatsoever in changing the sculpture, and I don't blame him. This man did a whole lot of research before he created his work. And you know, artists have a different eye for things and they have a different understanding. And sometimes there's a lot of artists that they create artwork, you don't like it, but maybe there's other people out there that do. So the idea of the embrace, and that is the name of the sculpture, came from a picture that he had of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Coretta Scott King, where they were embracing, well, really, Dr. Martin Luther King was embracing her. But he said when he saw that photo, he felt like Dr. King's everything was kind of like on Coretta Scott King's shoulders, right? And those two were so intertwined together, and his legacy was kind of like, you know, dependent upon Coretta Scott King. Like, she was the wind, Coretta, beneath his wing. She was the one helping propel him into his greatness and everything that he was doing. So the embrace, so to speak, and that's why he just has Dr. Martin Luther King's hands as the sculpture, is because when you go to see that sculpture in real time, like live, not a photo, he said, in the middle, you can stand underneath it. And he says the people that go there and they stand underneath it and they kind of look up, they become the heartbeat of, you know, Dr. Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott King, like in real time. And I'm kind of paraphrasing, you know, his words, so I think you should go and just read the article. In addition to that, the first outrage came actually from Coretta Scott King's cousin, who is still alive, and is an activist, and pretty much he was outraged. He was like, this is a disservice to Black people, this sculpture, right? And so it just went, you know, like wildfire from there. Others were criticizing it. News outlets picked it up. You know, publications picked it up and was saying that the sculpture looks like hands holding a man's body part, and specifically a man's penis. They said a man's beefy penis. That's what the sculpture looks like. Arms hugging a man's beefy penis. And I said to myself, when I first heard it too, and then I looked at the photo, I was like, wow, okay, I see what people are saying. But when someone gives you, like, tells you, like, this is what it looks like, automatically when you see a photo, you're gonna look to connect to the reference that they told you that it looks like. So yes, when I saw the photo, I was like, oh wow, it does look like that. I don't know what my thought process would have been if someone didn't say that up front to me and had me thinking that already by the time I saw the sculpture. So I'm coming to y'all to say that, you know what? Change your mind on this sculpture. This sculpture was dedicated to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's about his legacy. It's about something being placed in such, a prominent area in Boston to say, hey, this man had a legacy. He did a lot for his people in his short 39 years that he lived. Why don't you take a moment, step back, and understand, what this sculpture is about, why it is here, the man behind the sculpture, versus being outraged because you think the sculpture looks like something offensive. I mean, read into the artist. He did not just, lightly take, the decision on what he was going to create when he was creating this sculpture for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He really sat down, thought about it, did his research, and what he said to the critics were, he's not going to hate on them. He's not going to try to redirect their opinion about him. He just said, just think about it, actually go see the sculpture and understand this. If these people had not said something negative about this sculpture, it wouldn't have been seen like around the world. This thing went viral as a result of people going crazy and being outraged. And he just wants you to kind of redirect your focus and focus on the man himself, who this sculpture is dedicated to, and know that this sculpture was created out of love. Because if anything to remember about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is that he loved people and he wanted us all to just work together and love one another. So listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Can you give this sculpture another chance? Can you try to see, where this artist was coming from when he created and made this sculpture? Do you really think that, it is that offensive? Or maybe can't you look at it as like an arch, just an arch, and Dr. Martin Luther King's hands is wrapped around it, and let it represent that this man, his legacy wasn't in vain, and that we need to love more, embrace more, because that's the name of the sculpture. It's called The Embrace. Embrace more, love our neighbors, love our friends, hug our family. Just embrace the people that we're around and that we're with and that we encounter. So guys, read the article. Change your mind on this sculpture. And don't look at this artist as if, he was just the worst thing in the world and just criticize this sculpture. There are sculptures out there, and he mentioned this, that are built out of hate. Like, they're built, there's sculptures that are built, and the sculptures that were built, and the monuments that were built, these people wreaked havoc in the world. And so here he's saying that here's a man that did good, and there's a sculpture dedicated to him, and we're making a mockery out of it and acting as if it's the worst thing in the world because people are saying it looks like a male's body part and arms hugging it. Did y'all see the sculpture? Listen, guys, chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. I don't have a problem with this sculpture. Reading the reason why he did what he did, I can embrace it. And the fact that if you go there for real and you can walk in the middle of this sculpture and kind of look up. I think it's genius, but that's me. Chat with me in the comments, and when I get an opportunity, I will chat back. Hit that like button, and I'll see you on the next video.